Yeah, let's go ahead and kind of start with stress, because it seems like, I know for
Yes,
me that's the
I
biggest
love it.
trigger, and it sounded like that was kind of your biggest trigger when you were
Oh,
at your sickest.
absolutely.
So let's go ahead and start there.
Well, we have all been there, right? Like it is crazy because the fact that it is, the feeling of stress occurs when it's like your heart is racing, your blood pressure rises, your muscles tighten, you start to breathe faster. That is called the stress response. Is when your body feels threatened. And the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal system releases these hormones like cortisol. It releases, which then tries to protect you and prevent inner injury. It's also known as, you probably heard it. It's probably also known as the fight and flight mechanism. And once a threat is over, like the dopamine is released, it gives you a sense of accomplishment. You're like, woohoo, I did it. But this response can be life-saving in emergency situations where you need it immediately. But then what happens, especially in this day and age, is it starts to wear down your body with constant bombardment of stress in every which way. And then what happens is that, obviously when you have stress, that you release cortisol, and that continues to be released until that stressor is resolved. And then your adrenals start to tire out. Sometimes I lead to like adrenal fatigue. And then the short-term stress, fine, good, but then when it turns to long-term, that's when this chronic stress, our body starts feeling like it's constantly under attack. And then so it's constantly in that fight or flight mode. And it, with limited downtime between stressors, and this disrupts the, healthy state of the equilibrium, and even leads to like suppression of the immune system, inflammation, chronic illnesses. So, all of these things. So basically it does a body no good because stress, right now, stress messes up your hormones. It raises blood sugar levels, triggers leptin, insulin resistance, promotes weight gain around the midsection, basically further decreasing insulin resistance and inflammation, and even can lead to insulin resistance or PCOS, which then prevents ovulation and infertility. And what a lot of people don't know is that stress, because I've had people with like on these really strict, gut healing diets, like what's going on? But I'm like, have you managed your stress? They're like, oh, we don't need to worry about that. I'm like, I can't help you if you don't focus on your stress. Because the fact that 80% of the complaints that come to primary care physicians are due to stress. And you can be on this super amazing gut healing diet, but guess what happens? Is that, their stress actually affects your gut microbiome also. So here you're like working super hard on this, but it's also like, you're basically going uphill and like it's not working. Because why there's this vagus nerve, and it's like this thick bundle of nerves that runs along your spinal cord, and it connects your brain to your digestive system. It's like basically called the gut microbiota axis, also known as your second brain. So yes, the guy's second brain is not in their bellies. It's actually it is actually in their bellies. So yeah, so the way, so what is it? The gut actually is the way to the brain of the guy, not the heart of the guy. But what happens is that it contains its own receptors. So this gut contains its own receptors that reacts to like gut bacteria and its metabolites. And it also produces neurotransmitters because 90% of serotonin is made in the gut, 50% of your dopamine, your feel-good chemicals made in the gut. But what's crazy is that these probiotics can also affect, stress can also affect the good bacteria negatively and lowers the amount of the level of probiotics. And even in like acute stress, it actually can promote an overgrowth of bad bacteria in the small bowel. So not good. Right? Then these pathogenic bacteria interfere with the production of like these vital neurotransmitters. So you can tell it's basically bad, leading to more depression, anxiety, mood disorders. So not good. And then we have is also stress messes with your immune system because stress actually suppresses the secretory IgA immune molecule, and which basically releasing substances like adrenaline and norepinephrine into the gut, making the lining and the digestive system more permeable i.e., leaky gut, right? And or increased intestinal permeability, if you want to look it up in PubMed or scientifically, and it's inflammatory. Again, even short bouts of stress can even trigger a worsened leaky gut. So it's super critical that we incorporate some sort of stress management technique into our daily lives. Because even that short-term stress can even release, make you more susceptible to the reaction of these infections, specifically like chronic infections, Epstein-Barr, that also can lead to autoimmunity. So it's like a huge system. So it's not just one piece of that puzzle, but it's all of these different pieces.
So yeah, stress is insanely bad for you. Basically, you just dropped a lot of bombs there. But yeah, I mean, it basically boils down to if you can have the perfect diet, but if you're stressed, and I'm probably the poster child for this.
No,
you're not gonna heal, and you're not gonna get your energy back unless you sort of make it a point and be purposeful about handling your stress. A couple of years ago, I finally changed my mindset to this. Instead of being if only, I can finally do this if this would stop happening or whatever. And finally I just had this revelation where, okay, so I'm an autism parent, and stress is here to stay. It's not going away. And so stress is a part of my everyday life, and it's up to me
Absolutely.
to handle that stress if I want to be happy. And so that started set me on a path. I now meditate, and I'm trying to exercise more regularly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Emphasis on try, but
you know what? We can all just continue to try. For me, I know I noticed it. The last couple of months have been super stressful. And then I had to also, I started seeing the physical implications in me. So then I had to strengthen my diet, really get back on track, just to make sure that I got my meditation, my prayer. Was there anybody that I needed to forgive? What's going on? Why, what's going on with the stressful situations?